Thank you. Good morning. Uh, I really like this hall. It's very cozy. Doesn't look like that we have more than 50 people, but it is 150, by the way, if you count the seats. So nice to be here. I have been here a couple of times more. Thank you very much. And I would say that it's a great thing to do having social media linking to digital empowerment, because it's a hype. It's a serious hype of, I always call it a very top-down model, social media. If you know English, if you are active, if you have handset, if you have smartphone, if you have you can keep on talking, which you have been thinking all the time so far, but now you can talk and make people listen, where earlier nobody was ready to listen to you. So there are more audience to you. You never had audience earlier. Having said that, just going back a little bit in history, we are a 10-year-old organization who have been working at a grassroots level, empowering people with information enablement. That's our key thing, that we always believe that information is the power. You are have and have not only because of information that leads to economic prosperity or opportunity and so on and so forth. And social media is such a enabling tool that is really attracting a lot of people, even beyond language issues. We work in villages, and I must give you an example that the first time when you install a computer with connectivity, and the person who doesn't know English, doesn't know computer, the first thing they say, can I just first open a Facebook page? Really, I'm personal experience I'm telling you, in tribal areas, the girls from the slums, we call them and we put them into our center, and the first thing they ask is Facebook, and the second thing they want to see is the YouTube. So this is, at least awareness has been created across the masses that this is something which is supposed to be, aspired for. I want to be there. And that is a very good news, because then what Mr. Anurag was saying is that is what the democracy is all about. You have inclusive of beyond languages, beyond culture, beyond religion and everything. So I just want to tell you a couple of things that how we have got so many things happened without social media. But I think what we need to look at is that we need to use the social media for effective empowerment. We have RTI without social media, by the way. We have RTE without social media. We have NREGA without social media. We have so many rights, but we have still examples of the latest, what you call as that violence against women, that the one that we have got recently. Is certainly influenced by social media, where we have got so much of crowd. Anti-corruption movement certainly has a huge impact of social media. So I would say that social media is somehow, if not empowering, pressurizing the government to take into the consideration of taking it very, very seriously. And to the government, I would like to highlight that even though government has got started with the social media cell, 100% of all the parliamentarians do not have a website, by the way. 100% official website. Not a single assembly elected people have an official website. Forget about social. And they, they really keep them apart from social media, especially those parliamentarians who are famous, because they think that there will be so much of crowd, nonsense crowd or whatever, that they won't know how to follow. So there are 4 trends that we see that social media can create. One is that social commerce. It is enabling many, many people to sell the products through social media, which was not possible earlier. And we should discuss this in the next 2 days. That's very, very important, because it is empowering people at a grassroots level. We are a country of millions of artisans and all that, and they are able to reach the market. Social commerce is extremely important. Social governance, which is citizen-centric governance. Even though government is not ready to take the responsibility of governance, pressure is there to create good governance, So I think we should all participate in organized governance, issues that we can discuss in all our country, because when we say India, it's South Asia. We all are similar kind of country with similar kind of problem, with similar kind of population, with similar kind of, GDP, challenges. So this suits to everybody. And social activism, you know, we still say that there are serious social activism that we are considering, but participation is absolutely top down. It is something like more in style rather than in substance. So that's very, very important, that how we take those issues, which even though with your participation, those who are connected, is about those who are not connected. You know, that's extremely important because it should not float on the top of it. And basically try to make it more empowering, and that is the topic here. And I'm glad that we have all the 7 countries, and we need to learn from each other, because Pakistan is there. This is the first time I must congratulate ourselves and all of us that this is the first time in the last 10 years we have been able to successfully bring Pakistanis here. And in all our South Asia summits, they have been missing. Every time they used to get visa out. And I would say that maybe it's a good touch of IVLP, or it's a good touch of some of the people who are working on this in our office and in American Center office. But thanks that they are here. So together let's make it happen. That can we create an agenda out of these 2 days which we can adopt? And also I would like to here announce that even though it's an inaugural social media summit for digital empowerment, and it is the beginning, I must tell you that we are committed that we will do it annually, every year. And with that note, I would like to leave you with the rest of the day. And we will need, of course, all of your help to make it happen year after year, and look at the agenda that we set out in the next 2 days. Thank you very much.